If not for them, we wouldn't have us, the U.S. So we need to remember the brave who've secured our freedoms. And sadly, those of the greatest generation are now well into their 90s. Bob Weinberg of Flag City Honor Flight wants to make sure those vets get to see the monuments in Washington, D.C. built in their honor. And there are some opportunities coming up. Bob, thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Amanda. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So excited to get the Honor Flight back up and going this year. And that first flight is coming up here in a few short weeks.
6 weeks, I think 42 days and 11 hours, and I hate looking at that clock.
But who's counting, right? So September, there's a flight, and are there still spots available on that one?
Pretty much got the door closed on that one, I think. I think the plane's pretty full.
Okay.
We'll always keep an open seat for a World War II veteran that will come up. But probably looking at the November 3rd flight now for new applicants.
Okay, so for folks who may have just now started hearing about Flag City Honor Flight, walk us through exactly what happens on these flights and who is eligible to go on the trip.
Well, who's eligible is all the veterans. We're looking obviously for World War II, Korea, and Vietnam veterans. And those that were not in that era would be definitely young enough to be guardians to take our veterans on board. Mm-hmm. And we have a full day. We see the 3 memorials of World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, and then we'll go over into Arlington and Tomb of the Unknown Soldier for the changing of the guard there. We'll visit the Marine Memorial and also the Air Force Memorial when we're over on the Virginia side. We start early in Florida. Grand Air Hangar gives us the opportunity to use their facility to have our breakfast and greetings, and then we fly to D.C. When we come back, we have a nice welcome home for the veterans back at Grand Air Hangar at the Detroit Airport.
Yeah, we were just looking at that, and they receiving this warm welcome home, and it's so great to give them that praise and applause that they, of course, deserve. So with the pandemic going on, do you have any particular protocol or rules, so to speak, for folks to take the flight?
Yes, the most important thing is that everyone associated with the flights and the bus trips need to be vaccinated. I think that we've got that word out to all of those people that are participating on the September flight, but that's just something that's been mandated not only by us, like the Honor Flight, but also by our national network.
Right. So just make sure that if that's something that you're interested in, that you get it well enough in advance to make sure that you're properly vaccinated for those flights. Again, September 14th, the most likely full. But if you have a World War II veteran in your home, in your family, who has not been yet, you're going to reserve a spot for that vet. So make sure to get them hooked up with that. And then you have the flight on November 3rd as well. And you mentioned bus trips. When are those going?
October 5th, the first bus trip is the 10 days after our first flight, September 24th. And then our second bus trip is October 15th, with our last flight then on November 3rd. So the bus trips
primarily
are Vietnam veterans. We have a long waiting list of Vietnam veterans. So
okay.
It's a 4-day event. We leave on a Friday, come back on a Monday, spend 2 days in D.C.
So a few busy months ahead for you guys there, but that's great. For people who are interested in getting registered and sign up, how do they do that?
The best thing to do is go to our website, flagcityhonorflight.org. You'll find all the information on there, how you can donate to our organization, which we always need those funds, but also how you can volunteer to be a guardian to get on the flights or to volunteer for one of our events and just help.
You can use all of that support that you can get, so just get on the website. Bob, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Pleasure to be here again. Thank you.
Take care.